welcome to YMCA of San Francisco's Classrooms for All. My name is Lakiesha, and today we will be talking about subject and predicate matter. Now, in our sentences, you might be wondering, what is a subject and what is a predicate in a sentence? You can't have one without the other, and later on in the lesson, we'll go over that. So, to start, the subject tells who or what the subject is about. For example, if I write a sentence, if I put the boy got an A on his spelling test. And we can't forget our period at the end. The subject matter is the boy or boy. You can underline boy or the boy. We're just going to underline the boy just to make it complete. So the subject matter is the boy. You cannot have a subject or predicate matter without a noun. Always in a sentence, the subject matter is going to be a noun. So in this case, it's the boy. The predicate tells what the subject is or done. So what is the predicate in this sentence? The predicate is got an A on his spelling test. So that's it. The subject matter is short and the predicate is always long in the sentence. The boy got an A on his spelling test. And just to differentiate between that, I am going to make a green marking along the predicate so you know what the predicate is and what the subject is. So here is our complete sentence with subject and predicate matter. The boy got an A on his spelling test. We've got our subject and our predicate matter. Let's try another sentence with subject and predicate matter. Okay, let's try another sentence with a subject and the predicate matter. Okay, here is our sentence. The dog likes to go for a walk. The dog likes to go for a walk. Can you tell me what the subject matter is? You're right. If you said dog, you are correct. Or the dog. The dog is the subject matter in our sentence. Notice once again how it's another noun. Now, what is the predicate matter in our sentence? That's correct. If you said likes to go for a walk, then you are correct. That is the predicate matter in our sentence. And let me just go ahead and make this in orange so we know what is the subject matter and what is the predicate matter. So we have the dog, which is our subject matter, and then we have likes to go for a walk, which is the predicate matter. Remember, the predicate is always going to tell what the noun is or does. That is the subject and predicate matter. Let's try a few more sentences, and then we'll go into some fragments, and I'll explain why they don't work with the subject and predicate matter. Let's see. Let's go over some more sentences with subject and predicate matter. Then I'll break them into fragments and you'll see how one does not work without the other. Now, let's find out what the subject matter is in this sentence. If you said Melissa, you are absolutely correct. Melissa is what the subject is about in our subject and predicate sentence. So let's go ahead and underline Melissa. And if you said loves hot chocolate is a predicate, you are absolutely right. I would say that at the end of the day, subject and predicate matter is pretty easy. The subject part of the sentence is always going to be short, and we always know that the predicate part is always going to be long. Now, let's find out what happens when we only have a subject or a predicate. And we'll show how these two go hand in hand and work together to make a complete sentence or a complete thought. As you can see, I'm setting it up and I'm putting an ellipses because we don't have a complete subject and predicate. Let's start with the subject part first in each of these sentences. Okay, so I have 3 subject matters without a predicate at all. I have Andy had the bus, she can't. But if you noticed, there's no predicate. It's just incomplete. Andy had what? I'd be guessing all day and all night what Andy did. Andy had what? We don't know. But if I tell you Andy had to go to school. Now I've got a complete sentence or a complete thought. Okay, so I have my subject part, which is Andy in the sentence, and the predicate part, which is had to go to school. Andy had to go to school. Let me make that a little bit more legible. Andy had to go to school. The same goes for the bus. The bus what? Did the bus go to Mars? Did the bus go to the moon? Did the bus pick up some people at the bus stop? Or maybe the bus will take the children to school. Let's try that. Will take the children to school. Now I've got a complete sentence and a complete thought. I have my subject matter, which is the bus. And then I have my predicate matter, will take the children to school. Just like in the first sentence, I only had Andy had. I didn't know what Andy had. Had he had $5? Had he had a dog? I don't know what he had. But when we added a complete sentence, we found out that Andy had to go to school. So Andy was our subject, and our predicate was had to go to school. Let's deal with our last incomplete sentence or thought that only has a subject matter. She can't. She can't what? I'd be guessing all day and all night what she can't do. She can't go and play. She can't tie her shoes. She can't go to the dentist today. Let's make a complete sentence. Let's try this one. She can't. She can't believe that Christmas is next week. Now I have a complete sentence or complete thought. And what is our sentence? You are getting so much better at this. You are absolutely right. It is she. And you also know that our predicate part of our sentence is can't believe that Christmas is next week. So if you'll notice, in each of my sentences, I have underlined in blue, Andy, the bus, and she. That is our subject part. It is always a noun, and it's always very short. That's the subject part of the sentence. If you know that I have what I have, like I've made like a little bit of a square in orange, that's our predicate part. It's usually the part of the sentence, or always, actually, it always is the part of the sentence that is long. A predicate is always going to be the longer part of the sentence. Andy, our subject, had to go to school. Had to go to school is the predicate. The bus, which is our subject, will take the children to school. Will take the children to school is the predicate. And she was our subject. Can't believe that Christmas is next week. Can't believe that Christmas is next week is the predicate. That is what is happening when we are dealing with predicate and subject matters. Let's go ahead and just only add the predicate and leave out the subject, and you'll see that once again, our sentence is not a complete thought. So let me go ahead and erase this. So now I have my predicate part of the sentences. The first one is, had a play date after school. Who had a play date after school? Did the dog have a play date after school? Did grandma have a play date after school? Did mom have a play date after school? I'm guessing probably none of those people, or the animal had a play date after school. But if I say she had a play date after school, now I have a complete sentence and a complete thought. My subject matter, of course, is she. And my predicate matter is had a play date after school. I can actually put a square around the subject matter, and then I can just underline the predicate too. That's another way that you can differentiate between the subject and the predicate matter to make it easier to memorize. She had a play date after school. She is the subject matter. Had a play date after school is the predicate matter. Would love to go outside and play. Who would love to go outside and play? We do not have enough information with this fragment or this incomplete thought. The sentence is incomplete. But if we add a subject matter, then our sentence will be whole. Let's see. Rob would love to go outside and play. And I'm just going to put a rectangular shape over Rob, and then I will underline the predicate part of the sentence. Rob would love to go outside and play. So as you can see, I have my subject matter, which is Rob, and I have my predicate matter, would love to go outside and play, which makes our sentence complete or a complete thought. Our last sentence says, is not on time to fly out of San Francisco today. Who's not on time to fly out of San Francisco today? The spaceship is not on time to fly out of San Francisco today. That would make it a complete sentence, but I've never heard of a spaceship actually flying out of San Francisco. So I guess it would make more sense to say the plane. The plane. The plane is not on time to fly out of San Francisco today. So once again, the sentence is complete. The thought is complete. The plane is the subject and is not on time to fly. To fly out of San Francisco today is our predicate. So those are subjects and predicates. So today we talked about subject and predicate matters in a sentence. Without one or the other, you can't have a sentence. It's a fragment or it's incomplete. So we talked about how the subject tells who or what the sentence is about, and the predicate tells what the subject is or does. Thank you so much for joining me in the subject and predicate matter. Please join us at YMCASF.org/classrooms for more fun classes. See you again soon.
Did you know that YMCA of San Francisco never closed? When shelter-in-place happened, we could no longer provide in-person programming. We quickly shifted to provide youth and family programming virtually. As early as April, we started providing on-demand activities in our YMCA of San Francisco YouTube channel.
For this video, we're going to be making a geodesic dome.
Today, we're going to be making a hovercraft. The science around this activity is really awesome.
In addition, we have a regular schedule of activities for our youth and families to join live. We feature read-alouds, yoga, family Zumba, arts and crafts, drawing clubs, and more. So don't miss out on our virtual youth and family offerings. Visit www.ymcasf.org for more info and class schedules.